the effect that other makeup artists have had on your career. Lon Chaney, for instance, the man of 1,000 faces. He has had a great influence on your career, and I was wondering if you could tell me how he started.
The reason I'm doing any of this is because of him. I saw a movie when I was 13 called Man of 1,000 Faces. That was what they called Lon Chaney. Kids in school used to say, "Don't step on that spider, it might be Lon Chaney." Really, because Lon Chaney was a silent screen star. In silent movies, the only tool an actor had to convey emotions was his body, his physical appearance, and what he did with it. His hands, his face, they were always exaggerated. That's all they had to convey emotions. And since his parents were deaf mutes, he would come home from school and act out to his mother, who was deaf and dumb, all these things that happened to him during the day. All his life he would do that. So when he got into movies, I mean, he could act and convey such power, behind his things, and pity. They can make you laugh, you get scared, you can make you cry. So he became a big star. Also, he did his own makeup. He did his own stunts, and he was this fantastic actor. And I wanted to be Lon Chaney. When I was 13 years old, sitting in that theater, it wasn't like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. I'd like to try that someday," or I think I'll be a makeup artist when I grow up. I flipped out.
And that actually started your career at that point, didn't you?
That was it.
So what did you start doing, going out into the neighborhood? Or
I went home and I stole a compact and a lipstick from my mother's purse. Left the money, It was the purse, and, the makeup, and I looked for books. There was a scene in there where he became a pirate. I went to my aunt's house with this valise with a battered shirt and a headband and some brown makeup, and I said, "What's this?" And I put the makeup on, I put the headband on, and the tattered shirt, and I went, and they looked at me like,
the poor kid.
He's deranged. This is a demented child, my nephew here. They didn't understand I was being Lon Chaney, because I really flipped out. So the dream came true for me when I did Dawn of the Dead. I did the stunts. I was an actor in it, and I did all the makeup. To me, that was being Lon Chaney. When the talkies came in, and lots of silent screen actors, stars, faded away, Lon Chaney, who died shortly thereafter, but he did one talkie called The Unholy Three. It was a remake, where he was doing the voice of a ventriloquist dummy, the voice of a woman that he was playing, the voice of the ventriloquist doing the voice of the ventriloquist. He was starting to become Man of 1,000 Voices. We're getting off on a tangent, but anyway, Chaney, to me, that's where it all began for me.
There you have an old-time idol. Now, I understand that you have a modern-day idol in Dick Smith.
Dick Smith.
Might I ask, too, is there a camaraderie among makeup artists nowadays?
Absolutely. Dick Smith is the best makeup artist there is in the world. Rick Baker is next. Rick Baker won the Academy Award last year for American Werewolf. But Dick Smith invents a special effect technique, a blood formula, a latex appliance formula. He'll type it up and he'll pass it on to Rick Baker, who will pass it on to Rob Bottin, who will pass it on to me. And then we improve on it, give it back when Dick Smith gets it back, and it's like, it's improved, and that it helps him. Also, it keeps the quality of the makeup in the movie so they high, which is what he wants to do, Dick Smith. And there's no secrets. I'll call Rob Bottin and say, "How did you do this?" And he'll tell me, and I'll use it on my movie. And if he wants to find out how I blew up a head or something, he'll call me and I'll tell him. He hasn't, but I'm just saying there is a camaraderie among the artists today.
Well, let's get back to your work now.
But what were you saying about Dick Smith? You were saying
that he's a modern-day idol for you, as opposed to.
Oh, I know. I called him recently because he's doing some introductory notes to a book I have coming out, okay? He said, and he called me back and says, "Listen, when you talk about me, for God's sake, keep it simple. Don't overdo it." Because every time I talk about him, I do overdo it. So he said, I says, "Oh, so you don't want me to call you God anymore, right?" He says, "No, Jesus is okay, but don't go over it." He's really a nice man.
Have you got a name for your new book yet? Or is that
Grand Illusions, yeah. It's about special makeup effects in films.
Films. When will that be coming out?
Sometime in January.
Okay. Yeah. I wondered, I had read that you felt that your work on Creepshow would help eliminate that unwanted nickname that you have as King of the Splatter Makeup.
Yes, the Splatter King. Yeah.
You've done some work on shows like Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, Dawn of the Dead.
Burning.
Well, Maniac is probably the goriest movie that my effects have ever appeared in, okay? I get my head blown off inside the back seat of a car, a front seat of a car in that movie, plus all of other grisly things. But yeah, we've all done the splatter movies. Dick Smith did The Sentinel. He swore he'd never do another blood movie again. He did Taxi Driver. Rick Baker did The Incredible Melting Man. He was ripping heads off, and he no longer will do any splatter movie. He'll pass it on to somebody who maybe will write him a letter and show him pictures of their gore stuff. Mm-hmm. And they've gone on to now making monsters. I am lucky enough that I got to do Creepshow, where I can now do these monsters and get away from the splatter stuff. I mean, there's some gore in Creepshow, very little, but I hope to get my name disassociated with splatter. There's a book out called Splatter Movies. There's a whole chapter on me. And,
well, one thing I noticed while we were sitting here is this hand, and I wonder if you could show us just
this
for
hand
one moment. Yeah, that hand.
Well, this is the Nate's corpse hand from Creepshow. It's the hand of the corpse that comes out of the grave on Father's Day that attacks Biblical Infant.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to set up and show you some of the creatures around here. But why don't we take a look at this clip first?
This is going to be extremely painful, Mr. Randall.
No, this is going to be an entirely new experience. Now, this lovely creature here, Tom, it looks like my old girlfriend. Yeah, that's her smile. That's terrific. Now, this creature, what scene is that from in the movie?
The opening scene, where the specter appears at the window and beckons the little boy over and smiles at him and then points to the trash can, and then we go into animation. This is the specter. And when he had a costume on, it was blowing, and the full moon was behind him. And